Hey everyone, this is Amos here, and in today's video, I'm going to speak about how one can overcome fear. I hope you don't mind myself looking very unprofessional, because that's how I normally look like. Whenever I'm at home and I'm not doing anything, I'll look really scruffy, like my hair will be like very untidy. This is a shirt that I just like got out from my closet straight away. I just thought of making this like impromptu video to practice my social skills, but at the same time sharing a thing or two here about how someone can overcome their fears. Well, fears is like a very broad and general thing because one can have like the fear of flying or maybe the fear of heights. And some might have those like eccentric kind of fears like fear of weight gain, fear of well, maybe there's some common ones like fear of talking to girls, fear of what other people think, fear of public speaking. There's many ways one can, I keep on saying one, but there are many ways someone can overcome those sort of fears. But there's a broad concept, there's a overarching concept that one can apply to overcome their fears actually. And this is something which I got from an author called Tabitha Farah. She's an eating disorder coach. And what she does is she helps people overcome their eating disorder. I know those people watching here wouldn't have an eating disorder, but how this applies is in order for someone to overcome their eating disorder, the biggest obstacle in their way is the fear of weight gain. Like I'm sure you know anorexia, bulimia, those sort of people are afraid to gain weight and they have like a lot of body image issues. So it's imperative if they really want to have a, a good life and if they really want to like get out of their eating disorder, it's really important for them to overcome the fear of weight gain. So now, I'm gonna speak from my experience overcoming my fear of weight gain and how can it be applied to other fears as well that you might have. So, I used to be an anorexic, meaning to say that I would compulsively exercise. I'll be like extremely thin. I think I would be like two times thinner than how I am right now. Like I'm now 75 kilos, and back then I'll be 40 something, 41, 40. So the thing here is, in order to overcome your fears, you need to show to your brain that the thing that it fears isn't scary. That sounds pretty common sense. But the thing here is you can't talk or tell your brain into not fearing things. In order for your brain to really believe something's not scary, you have to show it proof and it has to see for itself that it is not scary. So, for example, for me, in terms of overcoming weight gain, I need to show to my brain. It's funny that I'm saying my brain in like a third person when a brain is actually like me, a part of me. Let's to make it simple. Let's try to separate yourself and the brain into like two different entities, and also to make things simpler to understand and digest. So it's in order for me to overcome weight gain, I have to show to my brain that it's not scared of gaining weight. So I did something extremely crazy, which is I purposely got myself fat. So I went from like 40 something kilos all the way up to 80 kilos, which is double my body weight. And funny enough, um, it was extremely scary. There are periods of times where I could be crying, I'll be feeling anxious for no reason, and my body will do everything it can to avoid, to like stop me from engaging in activities that will make me gain weight. So the solution is simple. You just have to keep on engaging in the things you fear so that you overcome it. But it's hard in itself to do that. How many of you guys would actually do things to overcome your fears? Definitely not. It's really painful. So the thing here is not doing like facing your fears. It is how can you make the process of facing your fears as simple as possible for you to execute. so that you can keep doing it and ultimately overcome your fears. And the first thing which I think is really important for everyone is they need to have a purpose of why they want to overcome their fears. Well, there's a saying by Tony Robbins which is pain and pleasure. It's like a principle. So people do more to avoid pain than they do to overcome. I mean, people do more to avoid pain than they will do to gain pleasure. So what you want to understand here is, what's your main motivator? Why do you want to overcome your fears in the first place? Is it because that not overcoming your fears is stopping you from doing something that you really want? Maybe it's like flying abroad, or maybe it's like talking to that cute girl that you see on the bus stop over there. Is it stopping you from, sharing your thoughts to the public because you're afraid of like what other people think? So you want to find out why do you want to overcome that fear, because it's really important. Because if you don't understand why overcoming that fear is important, you wouldn't want to engage in the activity of overcoming that fear in the first place. And it's easy to lose sight. It's easy to like keep on second guessing yourself. Why am I even doing this in the first place? Why am I overcoming my fears? Why am I like facing all of these painful things just to like overcome it? Can I just like be safe? So that's why it's really important to know why you want to overcome your fear in the first place. When it comes to overcoming my fear of weight gain, it's my purpose here is this. I genuinely believe that someone can get to the place whereby they can eat whatever the fuck they want without getting fat. But in order to do that, you need to allow your body to eat unrestricted. And that means like, allowing it to eat everything under the sun. Well, that sounds stupid, I know, but it does work. Now I'm now able to eat everything under the sun, while I couldn't because of like finance reasons. I mean, I can't have the luxury to spend on food all the time, but fuck, I can eat everything I want and I still look sexy as fuck. So that's a plus point itself. And I really believe that, and that's why I have this compelling drive to overcome my fears despite that. And that is really a belief that by overcoming that fear, it will get you somewhere. And like right now, I'm in the process of overcoming my fears of talking to girls. And it's really painful. I mean, to risk yourself being rejected, maybe sometimes in public, approaching a girl in a public setting whereby there's a risk of people seeing you, being humiliated if you happen to fail. So my main motivator for that one is because I want to be good with girls, which I know it wouldn't happen overnight, but the only way to get there is to go through that fear. So know your why. And then the second one here is you want to keep facing that fear consistently. It's gonna be a full-time job. Definitely. For me, when it comes to overcoming weight gain, it was a full-time job. And you guys might be really busy with a lot of work and stuff like that, but you got to be prepared that some sacrifice will be needed. And the key here is you want to do the best with the time that you have. So if it comes to, like, for example, for me, overcoming fear of weight gain, it's a full-time job because my emotions will be all over the place all the time. And because I'm like hungry all the time, because I'm basically starving myself the whole time from having an eating disorder, I would like eat all day. And eating all day and watching myself get fat and experiencing this entire range of emotions while I'm eating, it's really exhausting. Well, it's exhausting for the first few weeks, but it subsides as I keep taking action. But it feels like a full-time job, so you gotta be prepared for that. That's gonna be exhausting. Overcoming your fears is liberating, but it's exhausting at the same time because the fear wouldn't go away immediately. It's the constant facing of that fears that makes it go away. So maybe there are some days whereby you will feel, okay, I feel great. I can do I can do my fears. I can face my fears without feeling scared. But then suddenly, like after a few days later, you realize that the fear is like worse than ever. It's like up and down, up and down. So that's why I'm saying it's a full-time job, because it does not go away overnight. So you gotta be prepared to take consistent action towards facing that fears. And you know, the reason why I don't like say small actions, like mini actions, like baby steps leading to that fear thingy that you have, it's because sometimes it does not work. It's much better to touch the big snake than to touch a small snake and then touch a slightly bigger snake and so on. It's best to face your fears front on, because it's sometimes taking small baby action steps sometimes can be a procrastination. But again, it depends. Like if let's say if you are afraid of failure, then yeah, it makes sense to take baby steps to wait, it doesn't make sense either. Because if you take baby steps to facing your fears of like failure, for example, it's gonna be like baby steps is like showing yourself that you're not afraid of failing. So, well, I mean, it makes sense. You don't want to purposely fail at something important, but you want to gradually like expose yourself to more failures and so on. And it's hard to baby step your way in. What, you're gonna purposely fail in checkers, for example? I mean, it does not make sense. But the thing here is you got to face your fears front on. You can't like baby step your way in. Baby step your way into facing our fears. You just want to touch the big snake and get it over with, and keep touching it until you're no longer afraid. So another tool belt which I think it's really helpful is this, because fear doesn't always come in emotions. I mean, I think I'm gonna say one more point because I think the video is gonna be really long. So fear doesn't always come in the form of emotions, or sometimes it does come in the form of emotions, but it does not feel like fear sometimes. To give you an example, fear of weight gain. So there's a point of time whereby, okay, I'm eating a lot, I'm already fat as fuck. So I mean, what's the worst that could happen? The thing here is fear disguises itself sometimes. Well, I can speak on another video on more things about fear, but fear disguises itself. So for me, when I'm already like on track to overcoming a fear of weight gain, another challenge poses itself. I become bored of eating. So I'm still hungry for sure, but I'm bored of eating, even though I'm hungry. So what's a common sense thing to do? To not eat. However, that does not mean that I should stop eating, right? I should continue eating because the fear is still there, but it's disguising itself as boredom. So I have to keep persisting through. Sometimes it can be this, like you talk to a girl, you keep approaching consistently, and then you screw up. So it's no longer like the fear of approaching girls, it's the fear of screwing up when talking to girls. So you want to keep the main thing. Whatever thing that is like pulling you away from taking action on your fears is the thing that you have to keep doing. So let's say if you feel, okay, I feel so tired, I just don't want to face my fears today. Oh, boom. It's a way of avoiding that fear, and it's a fear response. So you just have to keep taking action. Or maybe that you feel, oh shit, I feel I regret doing this, like I'm facing my fear, something happened and I'm now regretting it. Boom. It's avoiding that emotion is avoiding you from taking that action that you fear. So you have to still persist through it anyways. And yeah, fear disguises itself. You want to keep persisting through. So now, I mean, I've spoken a lot, and just in a nutshell, what do you have to do to overcome your fears is you can't talk your way or think your way into overcoming your fears, but you have to show to your brain proof that this isn't something that it should be afraid of. And the only way you can do that is by constantly exposing yourself to that fear over and over again, consistently, until that fear goes away. And this can be a full-time job because it's nerve-wracking, and it's gonna be challenging. So you gotta be prepared for that. And you gotta be prepared for all of the emotions and the avoidance that will come with it. Because fear disguises itself in many colors and many emotions. And you gotta recognize it as it is. Okay, I'm gonna engage in activity. And all of these things are bound to happen, like frustrations, regret, guilt, fear, anxiety. All sort of things will come up to stop me from actually taking action to overcoming that fear. So I have to be prepared for that. So I think that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching the video, and that's all for me. Have a great day. Have a great day. Bye.